knowledge, wisdom, and discernment, your grace, mercy, peace, and power to lead us, guide us, and direct us in every step of the way. Father, thank you for this food, and bless it to nourish our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
No? Yeah.
Okay. You bet. So how exciting is this? Okay. So we pray that the Lord would bring everybody here that He wanted to be here today. It doesn't matter if there's 10 or 110. But does anybody know why we're really, truly here?
Hot dogs.
That's the second reason. We're actually here for you. We're here for the whole county. And this man over here, Kirby, and my dear friend, he's officially a family member, just like many of you are here. Okay, we've adopted you. He's the vessel. He's the vessel, not to change the county, not the culture of the county, but to just improve the quality of the county, to bring in resources, jobs, do a little bit of sprucing up here and there, and hopefully some of you are going to get on board with that with me. Okay, and please let me know if you're interested. So, Larry and Suzanne, I'm just going to say this to you right now. I'm not talking to you about a mayor. I'm talking to you about a man. And I've known him for 9 years. It's hard to even say. 6 months ago, he and Suzanne were planning their retirement. Oh, we'd like to do this. We've never had the luxury to do this before. Because I'm on the road constantly, getting kidnapped and, left for dead in foreign countries. Now I can finally relax and we can just do things that we want to do. Until a handful of people that know him well as a businessman came up to him and said, "We need your help. Would you please run for mayor?" He gave it a lot of good thought. He prayed about it like he always does before he makes pretty much any decision. And this is where the Lord led us. We're all here today. So, I love you so much. I love Suzanne. We're grateful to every single one of you that you are here. And Larry, I pray to God that you win this thing. I really do. Thank you all.
Anybody gonna eat a hot dog? Oh yeah. All right, let's do that. Y'all can get going if you want to. First of all, thanks for being here. Got some special people I want to thank that backed us up and all this. But first, very important deal. Anybody watch a basketball game last night? Yeah! Go Big Orange! We're going to Elite 8. We're going to take on number 1 Michigan tomorrow afternoon. And everybody tune in and let's win that thing too, all right? Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's nothing like Tennessee basketball, football, or baseball. My background from Memphis, Tennessee, and Don said a lot about it. I've grown up in business. Went to Memphis State University and then moved all over the country and went to Dallas, a corporate office, and took some more masters in accounting there to learn a little bit more about business. And literally, the last 19 years, was running TAFE, the Technical Association for the Pulp and Paper Industry. It's been around since 1915. They do the standards for the industry, kind of like the AMA does for the medical field. And told the board 5 years ago I plan to retire December the 31st, 2025, and so I did that. And got to see a lot of the world, lived in 6 different states, and I always grasp something nice from anywhere I lived or traveled, because if you don't, you're missing out a lot. If you just stay in your own little deal, sometimes you miss out. So we fell in love with this place years ago before I met any of y'all. Our Suzanne's folks would come this way going to Gatlinburg and take the side roads. Same thing with my parents. And I always talk to my dad, pull over, let's go to that cave. He got tired of that, but a lot of caves up here. But I fell in love with this area, and Suzanne and I said, where do you want to go? And this is it. So we're here. I think it's beautiful. We think that so much more can be done here. A lot of things are going great, obviously, but we need to tweak a few things, and then hopefully you're going to have an opportunity to do that starting April the 15th through the end of the month, and then on May the 5th. You want to make some change? That's the time to do it. We've had people in there right now 12 years, straight years, for the current county mayor. Before that, it was 20 straight years for that mayor. And folks, sometimes you can walk right past something 16 times a day and you never see it.
Exactly.
But it takes fresh eyes every now and then. And the ones that y'all have been talking to me on Facebook and everything else you're talking about, we need to make this thing better. We can make it better than it was. Well, how have you voted the last many, many years? That's part of it yourself. We all have to work together in making change for better. And that's what I'm asking to do. I want your vote, Marion County Mayor, and you can ask me anything you want to, or visit, or talk, or whatever you want to do now. But we're here for that, and we're here for you guys. I believe every citizen should have a voice. And one of the deals is your mayor, your voice, and that's what we want to do. I don't care where they are on the education level. I don't care where they are on the monetary level, but everybody deserves to have a voice in Marion County and what goes on. We want to be more transparent too. Kelly, we were just talking about publishing the financials, every month after the meetings, and I think that's great. Put it right out there for everybody to find it. We need to see the minutes from a lot of these meetings that we haven't been able to see. I'm not saying this is a bad place. Are they done things wrong? That's not what I'm saying at all. But things can be done differently, and then you don't have to guess what's going on. And that's what we've been doing here for the last 9 years that I've been here anyway. But again, not to tear it down. I want to tear down walls and build bridges between each other. The town mayors, they're not getting together like they used to. I'd like to bring them all together and figure out what we can do together, because together we can make it better for the entire county. And the towns and the cities, they have to make their own decisions. They're independent of us, and we get it. But we all can take the good from each of them and try to apply that to the entire county, and that's what I hope to do. Education's big one on me. I can't go a day without reading something about the education here and how we could possibly make it better. It's not really bad, but everything can be better, and that's what we're talking about right here. Our, the first responders, the military, I'm pro all that. We've got so many people here that are great people in this county. Got so many volunteers as well that just freaks me out that they spend time with everything they can, spend a lot of their own time for nothing, just to volunteer. And I'd like to tap into that a little bit deeper and have community councils that do that. They pick their spot, and then we line them up to do it, give them a little bit of funding, and let them turn loose and find out what we can do different here and better, and bring it back to the mayor and the commissioners. So that's kind of where I am now. If you've got a question, I'd be glad to try to answer it. If not, we can eat hot dogs.
Yeah, Larry?
Yes, sir.
I attended the commission meeting for the first time last Monday night.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, because I come from a strategy and business development background.
Right.
There seems to be a lack of clear priorities. And maybe I'm misjudging them all. But what would your priorities be in terms of what's good for the county?
What's good for the county?
Yes, sir.
Well, bottom line, that's one thing. Somebody said the other day, this guy's just wanting to raise taxes. I do not want to raise taxes. I was told by the current administration that if it hadn't been for some of these large real estate deals, that we would have had to raise taxes 3 or 4 times now, and we didn't have to do it. People look at these things coming in as something horrible, but it's literally not. It's saving your tax dollars. It's keeping you from having to raise your taxes. So that's one thing I'd like to keep and do and make people more aware of it. I think we should go really investigate seriously about this ethics committee deal that keeps going on. It's not over. If you ever watch that video, that person we got from Chattanooga, he just said at the end, this doesn't mean they didn't do it or they did do it, and they just didn't file correctly. And that's how the end of that meeting met. And I still wonder what happened there. Hopefully, nobody's guilty of anything. That would be wonderful. We spend way too much of our time worrying about that stuff and not worrying about our citizens. So I'd like to change that as well. Focus and stay out of each other's lanes, So I don't know if that answered your question, Lynn, but
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Yes, he's got one.
Yeah, Mr. Montague.
Yes.
I have a 2-part question for you. We got a lot of fine young folks
Absolutely.
and attend the various high schools, junior high schools, and my wife and I, we like to talk to them whenever we can. Over Food City and restaurants
Yeah.
and things. They don't feel they're getting as good an education as they really deserve. I'm not saying anything bad about schools. In fact, we always say, go Pirates down
Yeah.
here for a local football team. That's the best. But we're question is, how will we address that to be able to increase the quality of education for our young folks? And then number two is we have the Chat State division down here, this technology center. And we've been here quite a while now, and until you drive by, it doesn't look like it's even mildly occupied. It's a beautiful facility. Our textiles paid for it. They need to have almost like up in Nashville, they have the National Technological Institute. There's 2 shifts a day. You go in the morning, you go in the afternoon, into the evening, which would be packed with classes and technical-oriented things like welding or heat and air, that kind of thing, where these kids can go out and make some real money. What can we do to get that really boosted? How can we get Tennessee tax dollars into that and get it on track where these, like say, young folks have the opportunity to make real salaries to make their families?
I appreciate that very much. I'm glad you asked the question. I started, yes ma'am.
Can you repeat what he asked?
Oh no.
So I mean in a nutshell,
Yeah. Bottom line, the kids around here, they want to have a future. They want to have good jobs. They want to be able to buy houses, quite frankly, when they get old enough to. The other part of that is, what can we do to get that going more? And the Chat State was my pet project, by the way, since I moved up here. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But some of the high schools, we hear a lot of things. The grades aren't high enough, this, that, and the other, and that's true. But there's some great things down here. The Princess Theater had all these kids down there talking about, I forgot the name of it right now, but the Rotary Club, and they were doing all these things. The very smart kids are winning awards. They gave them some awards at the last commissioners meeting, I think, two meetings ago, I think. And we've got some bright kids here, we really do. I talked to the principal down at South Pittsburgh, and she told me that they've got a kind of, for the trades, they're starting to do some classes for the trades, Kirby, and I thought that was very nice. Chat State, I actually went down there and talked to Patrick O'Hagan, I think his name is. He runs this campus, and also Chattanooga. Talked to him about who I work for, Tappy. We have scholarships available. We're trying to work that out with him. He took me through there, because all the people I've been dealing with for 19 years, they don't need chemical engineers, they don't need mechanical engineers, they don't need PhDs. They've got a bunch of those. They need people from the trades, welders, mechanics, this type of thing, electricians. And I like that a lot, because that's what we need here. And I think Chat State's really, they're trying to ramp that up, and I'm going to still, try my best to encourage them and any kind of scholarships we can get. Now, you talked about something else there, but the grants are there for that as well from the state of Tennessee. I can't tell you the exact number of them, but I've looked at it. We need more of it, and I'm going to try my best to see if we can sink our teeth into that a little bit more, because we need these kids to be able to make a living. And some of the people I've been talking to for the last 2 months, 64, I think it was, companies. They represent people all over the world, but where their focus was, we're trying to get them to consider Marion County when they come in. These are manufacturers, high-paying jobs, and they train their people. And that's what I'm looking for right now, because it's not easy. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So that's where I stand right now. Thank you, Kurt. Anything else? Yes, sir.
So, this is a local election, and I moved up here about a year and a half ago.
Right.
I don't have any huge local issues, except, I've heard a few things like maybe dieting a few places up a little bit, stuff like that. But what's on your agenda? I don't want you to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, but what's the top few lines of your agenda?
Well, there's several things. We have some things that we could do better with our law enforcement, with the drug enforcement agencies around here. I think that we could do a better job. There's some things going on there that people are trying to figure out right now. So we've got a sheriff's position coming open, and I think we need to vote right there. Also, the schools is one thing. The medical facilities around here, we're going to have to really get after that. I've talked to Erlanger, I've talked to other people, I've talked to the administrator of a hospital, trying to find out how we can get more things in here for us. And it's what's the call, Suzanne? Something of need. I've got certificate of need. That's what it is. So it's population. It's how far you are from one location to the other. and they're trying to figure that out. I promise you. Spent a lot of time looking at that. There was a lady at one of the events we had around the corner, and she said that one of her relatives or dear friend passed away because they couldn't get to emergency room or trauma center soon enough. And I've been trying to get a hold of her again to talk to her about it. I actually put it on the Facebook page. But these things are serious, and we're not getting any younger around here, by the way. So we need that, and I'm pushing for it all I can. And if I can get some more help on that, that's one of my big deals. That's why I'm running. Anything else? And I hope that person's okay. There goes Puckett again. Those guys are getting real popular around here. Now the water issue too, that's been going on since Moby Dick was a minute. The South Pittsburgh Mountain, and it's just gone too long. And so why don't we get this thing done? Everybody's pointing fingers different places, and I can't imagine 2026 in a county like this not being able to have water. It just makes no sense to me. So that's been a big topic lately, and it's kind of irritated me and torn at my soul because people, I can't even imagine how they were toting their water and things like this when something should have been done a long, long time ago about it. It still said they're going to get it done next month. We'll see. I hope so. But those are the things that touch me. The people here. That's who we're here to serve. We're not here to take. We're here to serve them. Anybody else?
Larry?
Yes.
Also, if we could ask the folks that are watching this today
Yep.
in the future, if they could either just touch base with your website or
Yep.
your Facebook page
Yes.
and give us a very quick, brief description on what their greatest needs in the county are.
Like,
Because we've done many surveys in relation to that, but it's never enough. So we need to hear from hundreds and hundreds of people what they really truly need and what they want.
Don, I appreciate that. What we started this campaign with, we asked them to fill out your 3 things. Just put them down anonymously and mail them to us for free. And it kept coming up to a lot of the same things. The beautification of the area is a big one. The jobs that we talked about, housing, affordable housing, all these things are on there. But as Don said, we need to hear from thousands of you. Not just 100 or 2, but it all seems to be the same. The thing that they want, it's the same thing for the most part. But we need to make sure we're capturing as many people as we can because we need to know what you want and how we could service you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Larry?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what your message is to the present employees of Marion and to the first responders? What are you going to tell them about why you're the best?
Well, we got some good people here already. First responders and everybody else. We've got people in politics that are here. So my deal is my background, what I've done for all my life. I bring people together. I really do. And we try to find something that we can all depend on one way or another and not break each other down or tear them down. So the first responders, if they're not getting what they need right now, we need to make sure they do get it. Finances, everything of that nature. That's what I would say as far as the first responders. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, and the present staff, they could be worried about a new mayor.
Oh, present staff, yeah. Well, bottom line, if you're doing the right thing, right now we won't have any problems at all. We're going to have to look around and see how things go, but and that might not be might not be something I could cover, but I certainly would want to. We need to bring in the best people possible.
Larry, would you like to touch base with folks about what we talked about? We haven't announced yet publicly what you were considering with an audit.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anytime I've come in, I don't say take over, but anytime I've gotten a position that it's bigger than it was, I always ask for an audit because I want to make sure, find out who the company we bought, were they doing things right or wrong, and we had to do the same thing if we were selling a company. And right now, honest to goodness, anybody that comes into this, sheriff's office, the mayor's office, they need to know what's going on. A full, complete audit of all the systems. Because, I'll tell you what, if you don't know where you're starting, you certainly won't know where you're ending. So this is very important to me, and I've been in that side of it. And the last 19 years, we've had audits every year, and they've been clean, every one of them. We make sure they are because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing for everybody. So that's one of the big deals right there, Don.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But-
I don't really know, but I hear like, people with kids, but like kids, but people with kids, there's kids hang out at the mall or
Yeah.
over there at the parking lot. That's
Yeah.
where they hang out.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for any type of community center that maybe we can get the young people moving to hanging out in better places?
Thank you, Jeff. And there are some plans right now I've been seeing in the paper, just to let you know. But one of the things that was brought to my attention from a lady that's family's been in South Pittsburgh since 1905. She was talking about the swimming pool that was there. The kids have nothing to do. How can we bring this back? Now, the swimming pool, not trying to cut that down, but man, there's a lot of liability going through that thing. So they filled it full of concrete and it's not there anymore. But these community centers and the parks, I think we ought to really get after that, really get and have sponsored events for them to do, ballparks, whatever it is. You can come up with all kind of things for these kids to keep them busy, and also fundraising for those kids too to help fund these new community centers would be not a bad thing too, because I know we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of people that like to donate. So that's one of the things, Jeff. Did you have any others specifically in mind?
I don't know the answers, Larry. I just think that hanging out in the parking lot over there is not it.
Yeah, you got that right. It worries me. Yeah, I've got a lot of worries about some of the things. Yes?
Folks that you have some investors also that are really looking into a recreation center.
Oh, yeah, good point. We do. We've got investors that are, you want to say it?
No.
They're looking at, yeah, that's what you said. They want to help fund this thing and the community centers and see what we can do with that. And I appreciate that, Don. I forgot about that. What do you guys think the biggest needs are? Anybody just raise your hand and throw it out there?
Yeah, Larry?
Yes.
I think we should find a way to close this so-called gap between people who live up there and down here. It bugs me, like, I come from a small country town. I grew up in the countryside, worked in New York City most of my life, and I'm very aware that these kind of things go on. I just don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, that's a good one. The thing that I do see, Lynn, is people volunteering at the same places from all over the county, not just one or two spots. That to me brings us closer together. Now, the full meal deal, how you can snap your fingers and do it, that's anybody's guess. I don't like to harbor ill will against anybody, and I think a lot of that's going on right now. So I think the more we plan together and work together, it's going to make a big difference, I hope. I remember when Suzanne and I, before we moved up here, we were checking out churches. We go every Sunday. A lot of y'all do the same thing. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but we wanted to find one we were comfortable with. And the first one was big church here. And one of the ladies said, where are y'all moving from? I said, Memphis. Where are you moving? You're not moving up there, are you? And I said, first encounter with that, and it was very sad. And just to be honest with you, we went to another church because of how that was brought to our attention. So it's a little bit shocking to me, Lynn, at the time. So that's been going on a long, long time. It's going to be tough to break it, but I think it's worth breaking. I think we just keep merging each other together, trying to do things together. And again, the volunteering together is the best way to do it. Well, I've been trying to plan them. And my wonderful, oh, by the way, Patty Deutsch, where are you? Back there? Hi, Patty. I had all y'all's names here, so I'm going to read them real quick, Winnie, then I'll get back to you. Patty Deutsch, Donna Kirby, Toddy, but both Patty and Dawn have keep pushing this for it. Push it.
I just want to recommend.
Yeah.
Because it checks off. Because otherwise, I don't know how you work from a list, but you use the turning point action.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the question?
Okay. We're talking about door knocking, and you're talking about the app.
Because it has a list of all of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk more about that. I'd like to hear more about it. Really would. Thank you. How are the hot dogs? All over the place now. Yes.
I got a question again, but they said it was already addressed, but of course I'm late.
That's okay.
I live down here on Kimball Road, just below you guys, my property,
Yeah.
which is all you. And for probably the last 10 years, what do we have a problem with? Water.
Water.
I've already dug 3 wells, okay?
Yeah.
We went 6 months without water that I had to, my daughter has 5 kids, and it's her and her husband and myself and all. And you know what it's like to drag up buckets of water to go to the bathroom, to wash your clothes. We don't even wash our clothes. I've got a brand new washer and dryer there. I haven't washed laundry at home in 7 years, 8 years, you know. And it's been addressed before with the mayor there, and we were told, we can do something about that. Well, I said, okay, we're just trying to get city water up there. And then I said, well, what do we have to do to get city water? Well, you got to call the water company and all. And they told me it was going to cost me $50,000 to have a water line run. So I said, okay. I said, I'll go out and take a mortgage or whatever. I said, I'll pay the $50,000, but that's my water line, right? Oh no, then everybody showered because we had no water. And we heard some rumbling, and we were like, what the heck is that? And my daughter was like, get inside. Move your truck, you know, to my son-in-law. And here comes this big old boulder down from the mountain. And if they hadn't moved, they would have got killed.
Oh my gosh.
So right after that, the mayor come up and he's like, oh, FEMA, you know, was reaching out to people that have problems. So I called him and I said, hey, come up here and see. He come up there and he looked around and goes, oh, this is bad. Well, we couldn't get out of our driveway for about a week or so because we had to have somebody move these boulders to get out from the house. And he was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Didn't hear nothing. The next thing I know, he's printed, oh, well, FEMA's not going to come in. But the next day, went down there, and he's got a place on Kimball Cove Road, and bulldozers were out there pulling all the rocks and everything from his house. And I'm like, well, this don't make sense. Like, what about us people? You know? And, huh? No. Yeah, I mean, I was like, because I saw it the other day about me down here, and everybody was like, well, you're not a Republican. I said, I don't vote for
Hey, listen,
Democrats.
it doesn't.
Do not do that.
Listen, we're all people. We're all people.
That's right.
And I don't hate Republicans, Democrats, or Independents. I'm not that guy.
No, Democrats,
Amen.
Republicans.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the way it is.
What's your first name? Sue.
But no, I'm just like, can we get something done here? Like, it's just not fair that. And then they had sent out a letter supposedly for people that wanted to get water up there. Because I think there's only like 10 or 12 of us up there. And I called up the office and I was like, hey, you know, like, what can we do? Oh, well, you know, fill out these papers and you're the only one that's asked for water. I said, okay. So I went into the office and they said, we mailed out the things. I said, well, I don't know who you mailed it to, but I never got it. And I went around to everybody else and asked them, and they said, we never got a letter. So I said, I want papers. I said, this has been going on since they were blasting in Jasper Highlands. And I have nothing against the people in Jasper Highlands. I have a problem with who's ahead of it.
I understand.
You know? And I know people from up there and stuff, and they had no idea where we were going.
Well, Sue, just to kind of tell you the kind of guy I am, I didn't know about your situation, but I did know about South Pittsburgh Mountain. And a friend of mine, I went up there a couple of Fridays ago, 3 or 4 Fridays ago, spent half a day up there videoing, showing everybody what was going on up there. And it made a difference because they were all of a sudden wanting to fix that thing. So, not that I had anything to do with it, but if you walk past something 16 times and don't see it, you need some fresh eyes. And I talked to the guy that's building the water tower. He came up to the truck and started talking to us about it. Heard more than I probably ever wanted to hear about that situation up there. Really, I'm not kidding you.
It's a lot. It's been going on for years. When they first started blasting up there, before it was all developed and stuff, my sister and I, that's when we started having problems with our well. And we called up the insurance company and said, hey, like, our well stopped and blah, blah, blah and all. And we said stop when they started blasting. Well, I went to the mayor's office and I said, hey, you know, like, we've got problems. They're not blasting up there. Well, my sister and I drove up there before they had everything gated and took pictures of the dynamite. And they were like, no, they're not blasting. I said, well, where'd the dynamite come from?
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off, and it's like, you know what? I have property over in Battle Creek, and I said, oh, okay. They said that we're gonna get water over there. I told my daughter, I said, you know what? Let's look into clearing some property off, put something over there. Well, guess what? They're stopping at the bridge now. They're not going down to where my property is. So I'm like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Sue,
No, they don't like me because I'm a Yankee. Well, I can't be. I'm a damn Yankee now. But I've been down here. I mean, I've had the property for 30 years, 30-something years. It's like,
well, Sue, just for the other people here, I'm soaking this in right now, and what I told you I did going up there, I will look at it. I don't know all I don't know about it right now, but I do know this: everybody ought to have water in this county, and it's ridiculous not to. We got to figure that out. We really do. But I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I'm getting appreciate it.
Please attend the county meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was,
Yes, ma'am.
and then I got kind of I got to speak once or twice.
Well,
And
we
then-
need to pass that out.
You're in. Guys, I'm not. Somebody said something about making, all these comments are easy to do. Let's make but not fix it, and that's not me. If I'm going to do it, I got to find out enough about it that we can, and if it's fiscally responsible to do it, and we can afford to do it, we're going to do it. So this is just silly. It's so silly to hear this stuff. It irritates me to death. I'm sorry. Lost it there for a second. How did the Sleep in Heavenly Peace go today? You doing good? How many beds did you build? 20 beds. That's fantastic. That is good job. Appreciate that. I got more out of the one time I did that up way over here. It just blew me away. And now that I'm not traveling every week, we're going to get involved in it again. I mean that sincerely. One of the guys that runs it lives in my neighborhood, so he's watching me. Anything else, folks? Hot dogs? Anything? All right. What time is it, guys? It's almost noon.
Time for a new mayor.
New mayor. All right. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Am I missing anything that you want to bring up?
Can you just touch base again on the unification of Marion County, that nobody cares where you live?
Oh yeah. It's
Just really expand on that, because this is just, we're all looking over it.
unification is one of the big deals. That's what I was talking about, breaking down walls and building bridges. We've got to get together, folks. This is one of the greatest counties in the world, and we need to get together and stop pulling each other apart, and we can make this thing grow even better than it is now. And hopefully we have the jobs and the young people having something to do, and the young kids to have community centers they can go to as well. I know it can be done if we just work together for it. Yes.
Eric, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, the county is made up of 8 different cities?
Yep.
Kimball and Jasper are only just 2.
Yep.
And is most of the animosity coming from there? How is your outreach to all the other cities across Kansas?
As far as my outreach, I've been to majority of them. I've gone. We still hear the thing about us and them. We're outside. We really do. And my deal is, as I said, born in Tennessee. But I was wondering if you were out Nickajack Lake fishing. Think about this for a second. Nickajack Lake, and you're fishing, and your boat gets turned over, and you're getting ready to drown, and 2 boats pull up trying to help you, and the first thing they said, "Were you born in Marion County?" Which boat are you going to pick? Whoever gets there first, to save us. And that's what I'm saying, guys. It's a little bit of animosity here, and I don't really know why. We just moved up here. We didn't blow anything up or do anything like that, but we've paying our taxes. We're trying to volunteer where we go and have a little church help building it up now. And anytime we can, if I can go pump this county, I do it. Everywhere I am or everywhere I've traveled. And I'm not going to be surprised if we don't get some of those takers on expanding in this county. I really mean that. But did that answer your question?
How are you received in other cities?
Did I go to? Well, I already know the guys.
I've known them for 19 years. They live all over the country. So they like to hear what I had to say. That's why they asked me to come. What are you going to do? We heard you're running for mayor. And so they asked me to come and start talking about the county. And I need to get I'm on the Chamber of Commerce now, county, and I want to get some packets out to start sending them to people so they don't lose interest really quickly. So that's where we are right now. Now these public companies can't, I can't say so-and-so's getting ready to expand. That's against the law, basically. People start buying stock and all that kind of stuff. I almost got in trouble for that a long time ago when I was younger, so I stopped talking too much about who's doing what. But that's a real thing that you can't just give all the information out. If somebody thinks I'm holding it, that's the reason for it. Anybody else? Well, Duke, I think where'd he go? Get you another hot dog, Duke. But y'all, I really sincerely appreciate it, and I'm serious about what I'm talking about. And again, we got some cards, our Facebook or also our website, and just give me, let me know what you need. I can't guarantee I do it all. Yes, ma'am.
And signs.
Oh, and signs. We got signs out here too. If you want to take one with you. Matter of fact, these are beautiful shirts you have over here. I like that. I've got one on too. Look at it. Look over there in the corner. There it is. I've been freezing to death though. We do have a few left. If you want them, I'm not selling them. I'm giving them away. So if you want